Now, I have said this before, and I'm going to say it again right now, and that is, I truly believe that the Shaper Origin is, without a doubt, the most impressive and innovative tool that has been launched in the woodworking industry in our lifetime. And somehow they figured out a way to make that tool even more incredible. Today, I'm going to be revealing the brand new BenchPilot that has just recently been released by Shaper. And when I tell you that it changes everything, it's not one of those dumb cliches or clickbaity titles. This actually changes everything. So I want to just get right into it and cover some of the key points that I think are very important right off the bat. But be sure you stick around, because later in this video, I'm going to be sharing what my initial thoughts were when I was told about this product and what my thoughts are now, which are two very, very different thoughts. And I'm really kind of surprised by where my head is at now versus where it was when I first heard about it. So one of the common things that everybody's going to want to know is what it is, right? So essentially, this is a gantry system that you are able to place and clip in your existing Origin, or Origin if you don't have one yet. If you were to purchase one, you basically just clip it in, and it is a gantry system designed to drive the Shaper Origin for you, as opposed to you having to stand here and do it manually. Now, what comes with this when you purchase it? And honestly, that really just depends on what configuration. I'll have a link down to Shaper's website in the video description. You can go and see all the different configurations that they're gonna have this packaged in. But if you're somebody that's already an Origin owner, obviously you can just buy the BenchPilot itself. You already have the Shaper Origin, and you can also get it in configurations that include this additional table that you can purchase, which just expands your work surface area, which we will talk about in this video. Now, another big question that I know I will certainly get down in the comments section, and I've already gotten quite a few times from posting about this on other social media platforms, is what's the overall size? How much size does this take up? How much size would you need on a workbench in order to make space for it in your shop? So the depth of the entire assembly comes in at roughly about 24 inches from the front to the back. And the width you're looking at for just the BenchPilot itself is 32. With the addition of the switch, which I'll talk about in this video, you'll need about 38 inches in width. Now, when you order one of these, it's going to come in a couple of different boxes, different parts. I put it together myself, and I would say that it's one of the more simple things that I've put together. It was very, very easy, very straightforward, and I would say in all, it took me about an hour and 20 minutes from the time I opened the boxes to the time I had it fully assembled and ready to clip in the Shaper Origin. Now, once you get it assembled, it literally is as easy as just coming up to your machine, clipping in your Shaper Origin, and that is how the tool integrates to your existing Shaper Origin. It is legitimately that simple, which I am not super shocked about, seeing as how the Shaper Origin and the software that it uses is so unbelievably simple, which is why I myself am a huge fan and why I got rid of my CNC machine. Now, when it comes to setting up horizontal and vertical workpieces, nothing changes, right? It is exactly the same. The only difference is that you now have the ability with the larger work table, if you were to purchase one, that you can place larger items horizontally than you previously were able to. In terms of the vertical work holding capabilities, it's exactly the same. Now, because BenchPilot gives you the ability to come out much farther, we want to make sure that it's fully supported at all times. So that's where that larger workstation comes into play. And the benefit is that it has that support leg, therefore it's going to support all of that additional weight, and it's going to make sure that everything stays where it's supposed to be. Now, installing that work table is as simple as installing the smaller table, as it just slides right into the grooves on the Shaper workstation. And obviously you have the additional leg that is there for you to get set up and get everything level. It's a very simple process, takes a matter of seconds, and once it's set, it's set. One of the next key features that I want to talk about that's really, really cool about this machine is obviously there's different hardware that's going to be used when it's clipped in. So an example of that is right now it's clipped in, and down in the bottom it says Pilot. If I unclip it, it changes to Cut. So if I was to use this handheld, it's in the cut method. If I clip it in, it's in the pilot method, which I'll talk why that's important here in just a moment. Now, one thing that's really impressive about this machine, and that I found myself doing quite a few times very early on, is that I can program for whatever cutting operation I want to do. And then if it gets, 20 seconds into the cut and I want to make sure that it's cutting it right, I can simply hit retract and I can move this out of the way. I can look at whatever it is that I want to look at, make sure everything's going smoothly, and then I can hit go right back to cut, and the machine is going to go right back to cutting. It's going to go right back to all the paths that are already in there, and it's going to continue that cut. Doesn't matter if I move the machine, it's just going to go right back to doing what it was doing. And I've actually found that to come in handy a couple of times. Now, before I mention multiple cuts, so let's just real quickly discuss how it has the ability to handle multiple cuts, right? Nothing changes in the programming of this tool, right? When you're doing your design, you design everything exactly the same. When I bring it into the machine and I want to make those cuts, if there's 6 things that need to get cut, and let's do an example. I have 6 pockets that I need to cut or something like that, but I only want to cut 4. Well, I can just go in and manually select the 4 pockets that I want to cut, confirm that, and then hit start, and it's going to cut those 4 pockets on its own without me needing to do anything else. So that's something that's really nice. It just automatically will go into grouping everything together, but it also gives you the ability to very quickly and very easily manually dictate exactly what you want cut, and I find that feature really great. Now, I've mentioned a few times talking about clipping it in and unclipping it, and honestly, I don't think that they could have designed a better way for this to come in and out of the machine. It's so fast, it's so effortless to just clip this thing in and out into the machine. And what's really, really cool about this is that when I go from this workstation here while it's clipped in BenchPilot mode, and let's say I want to go over and use my shaper plate to do an inlay, well, I can do that. But when I go from this to the plate or from the plate back to this and clip in, it will automatically sense that there is a new workstation there, and it will ask you if you want to go back to whatever that workstation was. And I just find that so fascinating that I can go from here to another tool, use it in the handheld mode, come right back. I'll give you a really good example. Let's say if you're doing inlays, right? I can take this from here, I can go over to my project, whatever it is, I can cut all of my pockets, and then I can bring this right back over to my BenchPilot, and while I'm cleaning up those pockets, making sure that they're ready for the inlays, I can be cutting the letters for that while I'm doing another task. And so I find that really cool and how simple it is to just take it in and out. It could not be any easier, and I just really found that helpful when doing the inlays on the project that I've been working on. And then finally, one other thing that I want to mention is that, like other CNC machines, it does have a speed control on this. So this does give me the ability to dictate how fast I want to make the cut based on the material, based on the bit that I'm using, based on the speed of the router. You can really dial it in to get absolute top quality results by simply turning this knob here. And you can go all the way up to 45 inches per minute. Obviously, it's highly dictated off the material that you're using, what bits that you're using, but I found that very helpful. And just about everything that I did take the time to adjust that speed, mess with the spindle speed a little bit, just to make sure that I was getting the most efficient cut and not overly straining the motor. So now it's time to get into the real meat and potatoes of this video. I believe some people are going to look at this and there's going to be 2 common things that I think I'm going to see. The first one, these are the first 2 things that came to my mind, was, okay, great, but now you're taking all the fun out of using the machine. So let me address that one first. I can understand why somebody would think that, because there's no denying that using this tool is one of the things that makes it such a wonderful tool. It's almost like playing a video game, but it gives you tons of creative freedom. I do see how somebody might go, okay, great, now I just have a CNC machine. Well, that's not still entirely true. I think one of the things that makes the Shaper Origin so incredible is the fact that you are moving a machine and you don't have to be crazy accurate because the machine manages your inaccuracies. Well, now we just have a system that is also allowing you to go do other things. So while I definitely won't only use the Shaper Origin in here, because something that I think a lot of people forget is that the Shaper Origin gives you a lot of capabilities that traditional CNC machines don't. There really is no size constraint with a Shaper Origin. It's not taking away the fun, it's expanding the capabilities of an incredible tool, is basically what it's doing. And now the next really big thing, and I've already seen it, and I've already had people write me messages, great, why wouldn't I just get a CNC machine? To say, why wouldn't I just buy another CNC machine, or why wouldn't I just buy a CNC machine? It's not the same thing. Not to mention, you would be really hard pressed to find a CNC machine with this footprint at this price point. And that's just a CNC machine. That's not including the fact that, oh, by the way, I can take this thing that fits in a sustainer, take it to the job site, take it to a project, take it to the install where maybe you're installing flooring or you're installing whatever, and everything fits together so easily and is so easy to use. It's not a fair comparison, is while some CNC machines do give you the ability to cut vertically, i.e. joinery, none of them at this price point. None of them you're going to get at this price point. So this continues to give you the ability to cut multiple vertical joinery techniques, multiple horizontal. To me, you're basically getting a lot of the great features of a CNC machine, all of the great features of the Shaper Origin, and then some by adding a BenchPilot, and you don't want to sacrifice the space for a really large CNC machine. Now, the Shaper Origin itself already has just tons of amazing features. It gives you the ability to do, really cool joinery, engraving, inlays, no real size constraints, and with just the utmost accuracy without you yourself having to be super accurate. All the BenchPilot is doing is expanding those capabilities and allowing you to take advantage of those capabilities while you're off doing something else. And that is just the most impressive thing, I think, to me about it. You've probably seen a bunch of different clips of different cuts and me doing things in the background. So to get up and running, I've been running this machine a lot because I want to make sure that I fully understand and grasp. I want to see what problems I run into. I want to see how the machine performs, what the accuracy is like, is the machine running true? So I just did a couple of simple stools with some files that were provided to me from Shaper. What I really wanted to try to take advantage of is, can I have the machine doing a task while I'm off doing something else? And what I came to realize is it is literally like having somebody else in your shop helping you. And a couple of good examples of that, which I've already mentioned, one being an inlay. I can be cutting pockets and then preparing those, sanding the surface, making sure the corners are all straight, whatever the case is, while the machine is then cutting out the letters. So it's not going to be one of those tasks where, okay, I've got to go do the pockets. Now I've got to come do the letters. That's time that I'm losing, right? I could be doing another task while something like that is being done. I can speak from personal experience when I say there have been times where I've had something that was very repetitive that maybe I stopped myself from doing it because I knew it was going to be a 2-hour-long session of doing the exact same thing over and over again on the Shaper Origin. Well, now you can do those things without having to actually do it, and you can be working on the next step. You can be preparing for what needs to happen after those are cut. Or if you're batching a lot of them out, I can batch the first batch out, then I can start finishing that first batch while it's cutting the second batch, right? So you're basically giving yourself the opportunity to handle a lot of those tasks that you don't want to dedicate all of the time standing there doing it yourself. Another thing I'd like to point out, so I'm already an existing Shaper Origin user. You will have absolutely zero problems transitioning from using the Origin without BenchPilot to using the Origin with BenchPilot. It is literally as smooth, I know I've said that a few times in this video, as clipping this thing in, going through your cut, your prompts, all that, hitting start, and walking away, right? Like nothing changes. You don't need to know any new software. You just need to have the space. You need to have it set up, and you need to have the ability to clip this thing in, and it will just start working perfectly the way that it's supposed to. So I want to share my thoughts on who I think would benefit the most from this. Obviously, anybody that has an Origin. I don't think I've bought a single Origin accessory yet that was not incredibly helpful. This is just another way to enhance the usability and the capabilities of the Shaper Origin. So if you already own one and you are willing to sacrifice the small footprint that it takes, it will 100% benefit you unless you just don't want to let it benefit you. I will utilize this any opportunity that I can working on any project because this can be doing something while I'm doing something else. The next group of people that I think would benefit from it is somebody who is kind of interested in getting a CNC. Maybe you do small batchwork style stuff. I think that this is the right thing for you because it gives you the capabilities to do a little bit more than any of those small footprint CNC machines are ever going to give you. And I think the biggest one for me is the joinery. I mean, it just gives you the ability to cut joinery effortlessly, especially like if you're making jigs. Now I can make, multiple cuts at one time and just walk away, do something else, come back, and all of my joinery is cut, but still have the ability to do some other really cool stuff as well. It just doesn't take up a big footprint. It's small. The Origin's already an amazing tool. Oh, and have I mentioned in this video that I can still unclip this thing and walk over to whatever project I'm doing and do whatever it is I need to do and then bring it back and let it continue to cut. So if you're somebody that's limited on space, but you're kind of interested in a CNC machine, getting this full setup would absolutely be something that I'd be looking at. Next one is anybody who has a really hard time struggling with software. And to be fair, I'm one of those people, which is again, why I got rid of my CNC machine. I'm not good at that software. It was so difficult for me to figure out. It's not something that was really user-friendly as if you walk away from it for a while and then you come back to it. I don't think this could be any easier. I'll give you an example. When I was doing the inlays on the stools that I made for my sons, the project that I did utilizing BenchPilot, I just opened up my phone, found the font that I wanted, made it the size that I wanted, shut my phone off, came over to the machine, popped in the letter that I needed, placed it where I wanted it to go, and made the cut. So the whole system from design to execution, I honestly don't believe it could be any easier to use than what it already is. So the fact that they were able to do that so simple, and I think that's kind of like the overall mantra, when it comes to Shaper is make this amazing technology that is so incredibly user-friendly that it almost, begs you to come use it. Every time I think of something that I could use this for, I just want to use it because it's so easy, it's so accurate, and it's so good. And then the last one is people that have been on the fence for buying an Origin. And look, I get it. An Origin is not an inexpensive tool, right? To get the entire setup right here, you're looking at around $5,000 to get everything, right? That's not that bad, including everything that you get and the capabilities that you get. But again, if you're a Shaper Origin owner already, obviously that's significantly lower. So I understand why this is one of those tools where I feel like you sit on it for a while. You want to see as much as possible. You want to be a believer. You want to have it proven to you that the investment is worth the money. Rightfully so. And that's what videos like this are for. Find some creators that you like. The company has amazing YouTube videos. Go to trade shows, get your hands on it, get to use them. Find somebody local that has one and see if you can learn how to use it. I get it. It's a big investment. Sometimes it takes a while to work up to it. But I also feel like a big part of that is, you're on the fence for that reason. But also it's like you're not convinced of the capabilities. It's like now at this point, with the addition of I can take this really cool tool and plug it into BenchPilot, and now I can have it operate as a traditional CNC machine while I'm doing something else. But then if I want to use the Origin, I can just unclip it in the middle of a project and go do it and then come back, clip it back in, hit start, and it goes right back to the project it was doing. That's pretty sweet, right? So I think that there's a lot of selling points by now that should be pretty clear that could sway you one way or the other. Now, I mentioned I wanted to share what my initial thoughts were versus what my thoughts are now. When I was asked by Shaper if I would be interested in trying out one of these BenchPilots and honestly doing a video to show all of you what it does, my thoughts, and hopefully share my excitement about this. I hopefully that's coming through in this video. I initially said, before I knew what was coming out, said obviously yes. Like, I love the Origin. I'm sure whatever it is, it's going to be amazing. And then I was given access to what it was. And I will be honest with you. My initial thoughts were, I don't really know if I'm going to benefit from this. I don't really know if I'm necessarily the best person that's going to get the most out of it. Like, that's me being 100% honest. And I told Shaper that. Because I had a CNC machine and I wasn't interested in fulfillment, like just letting it cut things all day. And I go to the post office all the time. And that's how I was looking at it. The space that I would need. Again, that was before I knew the footprint that it would take up. I wasn't crazy excited about it. So now that I've told you that, let me share with you my thoughts now, right? I needed to preface it with that portion. So fast forward a couple of months and I'm asked, come out to San Francisco. We'll do a day and a half training on BenchPilot. That way you have the most knowledge possible when you finally get your unit. Said absolutely. I go out there, which let me just say, everybody at Shaper is just absolutely incredible. It was a wonderful experience, but they took the time to walk me through everything. And we only spent about 10 minutes going over the actual BenchPilot before we just started making cuts all day long. I would ask questions on how to do X, Y, Z. We would do that. Again, I said it's very easy to get this thing up and running. And so I had this same conversation with a couple of the guys there. And they said, what are your thoughts? And I shared my initial thoughts. And then I said, but my thoughts now are very different. So I had that trip, and then I've had it for a couple of weeks now, and I've done a couple of projects, and I've messed with it a lot. When I was sitting there watching the machine cut, I'll be honest with you when I say something reinvigorated in me when it came to woodworking. And I went from going, I'm not super excited and I don't really know how I'm going to incorporate this into my shop, to how can I incorporate this into my shop? What projects can I do that I can utilize BenchPilot to help not only make the process faster, but make it better? Do something that maybe I wouldn't do normally because I didn't have certain capability, or I didn't want to spend all of that time doing it. And it was just so strange because my mind has been racing ever since that day in San Francisco. And I got excited. I got excited about something. Like, I usually don't get super excited about tools anymore. There are a few, like I've done videos. Most of you guys know what those tools are. This is obviously one of them, but I just can't stop thinking about how I can use this to just make really cool stuff. So my thoughts now are, I am so excited to have this in the shop, so much so that I can't wait to get done with this basement renovation that I'm doing so I can come out in the shop and build this really cool workstation where this will live permanently, and I can just be running this on other projects that I'm doing, and it can help save me a bunch of time. Now, hopefully you were able to see how excited I am about this amazing product that has come out. Again, if you're a Shaper Origin owner, I'm telling you, it's a no-brainer. 100%. You will absolutely love this device. And if you're not, hopefully this is something that pushes you over the edge. I don't get anything for whether or not you buy one of these machines from this video, but I will leave links to Shaper's website if you want to go find it, the different packages. I think everything right now is on pre-order. It's a really incredible tool. I can't wait to use it more, and you will certainly see it in future videos, and I cannot wait to find ways to become more creative because of it, and then share those ways with all of you. Thanks.